Tonight, we're heading somewhere cold. So cold, your breath turns to tiny ghosts the moment it leaves your mouth. You stand in a frozen valley, surrounded by snowdrifts taller than mammoths. The sky glows pale blue, heavy with frost, and every inhale tastes like metal and pine sap. Somewhere in the distance, a wolf howls, a lonely sound that rolls over the white hills like thunder. You turn your head. There's movement in the haze, a shape, almost human. Broad shoulders, a face carved in shadows. Its eyes glint amber in the half-light, intelligent and wary. You've just locked eyes with another kind of you, a Neanderthal. They don't know it yet, but this frozen valley will be their final chapter. You've walked into the twilight of their kind, the last human species that died out before us. And, well, you probably won't survive this. So, before you get too comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're the kind of person who loves falling down strange rabbit holes before bed. Now, dim the lights, get cozy, and let's drift into tonight's story together. The snow muffles everything, the crunch of your boots, the creak of trees bowing under ice. You pull your fur cloak tighter. There's a faint smell of smoke in the wind. Life, civilization. And when you crest the ridge, you see it. A small circle of figures crouched around a fire, their silhouettes flickering like ghosts of flame. At first, you think they're like you. Then you notice the differences. The heavier brows, the thicker hands, the barrel chests built for surviving glacial breath. But their laughter? That's human. Their movements, measured, gentle, familiar. They are you, just from another draft of evolution. Anthropologists call them Homo neanderthalensis, Europe's native humans. They ruled this continent for hundreds of thousands of years before your ancestors ever dared to leave Africa. They've seen empires of ice rise and fall, hunted cave lions and rhinos, buried their dead with flowers, and stared into the same stars you'll see tonight. And for all that time, they were alone, masters of their cold kingdom, until curiosity walked north. Far to the south, your ancestors, Homo sapiens, had begun to spread. Lighter, faster, more restless, pushed by drought, hunger, or maybe just an itch to see what lay beyond the next ridge. They crossed deserts, rivers, mountains, and one day, they reached here. Historians still argue about what happened next. Was it peace, trade, or the first quiet murder in a long unspoken war? The evidence doesn't choose sides. Spears made by both species lie side by side in the same layers of earth. Maybe they shared fires. Maybe they shared mates. Maybe they shared nothing but fear. You imagine that first meeting, two figures on opposite sides of a snowy clearing. One broader, slower, unflinching. The other slimmer, alert, eyes darting with calculation. Neither knows what the other is. Neither can look away. The old myths said Neanderthals were brutes, but their story keeps refusing to stay simple. Their brains were as large as yours, sometimes larger. Their tools are precise. They made glue from birch bark and tar from resin to fix their spearheads. They used pigments to color shells, feathers, and skin. Some even wore eagle talons strung on sinew cords, jewelry older than language. A quirky find from Spain. Neanderthals mixed ochre and manganese dioxide in patterns that suggest cosmetics. Fireproof makeup? Prehistoric eyeshadow? Either way, it means they cared how they looked. Proof that vanity predates Instagram by about 60,000 years. You crouch near their hearth. The smoke curls upward in lazy spirals. A woman kneels beside the flames, feeding them with careful hands. A child clings to her arm, laughing as his father sharpens a stone blade. The sound is rhythmic, almost musical, the steady percussion of survival. It's easy to forget you're watching a species on the edge. Outside, the wind moans through the trees. The glaciers are advancing again. Game is scarcer. Nights last longer. And somewhere far beyond those peaks, your kind is multiplying. Fast, clever, unstoppable. Evolution doesn't care who deserves to win. It rewards whoever adapts faster. The Neanderthals are perfect for this world, strong, enduring, grounded. But the world is about to change, and perfection is a trap when the rules shift. You glance at them, these strange, beautiful cousins, and realize they're not dying because they're weak. They're dying because they stayed the same. The fire pops, sending sparks into the dark. One lands on your sleeve, glowing for an instant before fading into ash. You stare at that ember, that tiny, fleeting light, and think, maybe this is how extinction begins. Not with thunder, but with silence between heartbeats. For now though, the Neanderthals still laugh. Their breath fogs the night. Their stories flicker on stone walls, painted with handprints and animals that no longer exist. Tomorrow, you'll follow them deeper into their world, a world slipping through history's fingers like melting ice. The morning light arrives slowly and pale, like the world itself is trying to remember how to wake up. Snow glows blue under the first sun. You push aside the furs and crawl from the cave. The air bites harder than memory. Your breath crystallizes before your lips, hanging for a moment before vanishing, like all things will, eventually. Around you, the Neanderthal camp stirs. Smoke snakes upward from a dying fire. A woman crushes red ochre against stone, painting a line across her cheeks, not for vanity, but for ritual, or warmth, or maybe courage. A child giggles, pressing his hand against a cave wall, leaving a print beside dozens of others. You press yours next to his. The shapes match, mostly. A few fingers shorter, a few millennia apart. Same need to say, I was here. The firelight fades to day, and you join a small group heading toward the forest. The snow crunches softly underfoot. They walk like they've done it forever, shoulders rolling, knees slightly bent, always scanning the ground for tracks. Their communication is subtle. A grunt, a glance, the flick of a wrist. No wasted words. Everything is necessity. But as you walk with them, you notice something deeper beneath the silence, a rhythm. The steady, patient hum of lives so in sync with the earth, they don't need to explain it. Historians still argue whether Neanderthals had language like ours. The bones in their throats say yes, but the artifacts tell a murkier story. Maybe they could talk, maybe they could only sing. Some researchers think their speech was tonal, half words, half melody, a language of vibration. It's a haunting thought that they might have hummed their stories, not told them, that their love songs were the first lullabies the wind ever carried. By midday, the group finds what it's looking for, reindeer tracks leading toward a frozen stream. The leader, a massive male with a crooked nose and hands like tree roots, signals the others. They fan out, moving low and silent. You follow, heartbeat quickening. Then it happens fast. A spear whistles, a shout. The herd explodes in chaos, hooves churning snow, air splitting with the sound of muscle and panic. One spear strikes true, embedding deep into a reindeer's flank. The creature stumbles, thrashes, falls. The Neanderthals close in, swift and precise. No cheering, no cruelty, just efficiency. When the struggle ends, they kneel, hands on the animal's side, as if apologizing before the first cut. It's not just a hunt, it's a prayer. Later, back at camp, smoke rises thick and sweet. The scent of roasting meat fills the cave. Children laugh again. The old woman, the matriarch, leans on a stone, humming that same low, rhythmic tone. You realize it's the same cadence they used on the hunt. Music, you think, might have come before words. One of the younger hunters sits beside you. He holds a long bone, tapping it with a rock until its hollow body makes a sound. Soft, round, perfect. He grins. You grin back. It's the first jam session in history. A quirky find: in Slovenia, archaeologists discovered what may be the world's oldest instrument, a flute made from a bear's femur, over 40,000 years old. The holes match a musical scale close to ours. If that flute was Neanderthal, then right here, right now, you're hearing the first echoes of music. It's strange, isn't it, that they might have known beauty before we did. As the night deepens, you watch them divide the food. Everyone gets something, even the old, even the lame. Compassion doesn't keep you alive in nature, but it keeps a species alive. One male sits apart from the group, his leg twisted from an old break. He can't hunt anymore. Yet the others feed him, brush snow from his shoulders, tuck hides around him. He laughs softly, eyes closing. Archaeologists once found a Neanderthal skeleton with a crushed skull and deformed leg, injuries that would have left him helpless for years. And yet he survived, which means that's not survival of the fittest. That's survival of the kindest. You glance at the walls again. The paintings shimmer under the firelight, handprints, spirals, a crude animal. You run your fingers over them, feeling the grooves where fingertips pressed pigment thousands of years ago. You think of your own hands, your own screens, your own need to leave marks that prove you existed. Maybe nothing's changed at all. Outside, the wind picks up, rolling through the trees like the ocean. The moon climbs higher, turning the snow to silver. You lie back on a fur blanket, the cave warm around you, the fire sighing. For now, this world is theirs. For now, they belong here. But somewhere beyond those distant mountains, another kind of human, your kind, is already moving north. And soon, curiosity will meet its reflection. The quiet harmony of the Ice Age is about to fracture. Dawn breaks with a light that feels too thin for warmth. The Ice Age sun is a distant coin, bright, indifferent, and impossibly far away. You step outside the cave, crunching into a world painted entirely in silver and blue. The wind rolls through the valley like a warning. The Neanderthals are already moving. They travel light, furs slung across shoulders, spears bundled tight, fire carried in smoldering moss wrapped in hide. Their lives are a constant negotiation with extinction, and they're still winning, barely. You follow them up a ridge where the world opens into a cathedral of cold. Below you, glaciers move like sleeping beasts, groaning as they drag the earth beneath them. Ice cliffs shimmer in faint sunlight, and every sound, the crack of a tree, the sigh of snow, is a reminder that this land belongs to no one for long. This is the Cold Kingdom, and for hundreds of millennia, it has been theirs alone. They walk with purpose. Every few steps, someone kneels to taste the air or touch the ground. They're reading stories written in frost, hoof prints, fur scraps, the distant scatters of bones. They're hunting mammoths now, or at least following their trails. One of the younger males gestures, his breath fogging like smoke signals. The matriarch nods once. They move quietly through the valley, shadows on ice. A herd grazes in the distance, giants of muscle and hair, their tusks gleaming with frost. Each step they take leaves craters in the snow. The hunters crouch low. You can hear hearts pounding, not fear, but focus. They wait. The wind shifts. A calf strays from the herd. A spear arcs through the air. It hits. The mammoths trumpet, a deep, thunderous grief that shakes the ground. The herd bolts. The calf collapses, legs folding like broken branches. The Neanderthals rush forward, efficient, silent, mercifully quick. There's no joy in the kill, only relief. When the work is done, they kneel again, pressing hands to the ground, murmuring something too soft to decipher. It's not language, not quite, but it means something. A ritual maybe? Gratitude. And as strange as it sounds, you can feel it in the air, the respect, the balance. They take only what they need, and the valley gives what it can. For now, there's still enough. But winter is tightening its grip. Historians still argue how quickly the climate turned against them. Ice cores tell stories of brutal shifts, seasons collapsing into decades of cold. Rainfall dwindled, rivers froze, forests turned to tundra, species vanished overnight. And yet, the Neanderthals endured. Their bodies were perfect for this: short limbs to conserve heat, massive lungs for thin air, and muscles that could tear through bone. Evolution had made them invincible, until the rules changed. A quirky discovery: in one site, researchers found soot layers alternating with ash, evidence of deliberate burning across open plains. The Neanderthals might have used controlled fire to drive animals into traps, or to regrow grazing lands. Prehistoric land management, 40,000 years before the first farmer. It's strange to imagine them as scientists, experimenting with flame, mastering chaos. Yet here they are, taming the cold with chemistry. But even fire can't stop the hunger. The herds begin to migrate north, chasing the shrinking warmth. The Neanderthals follow, slower each year. The children's faces are thin. The old woman coughs at night. And still, they push forward, because stopping means dying, and dying means being forgotten. You march with them for days. You feel the exhaustion settle deep in your bones. Every gust of wind cuts like glass. You start to understand why they don't speak much. Words waste breath. At night, they make camp beneath an overhang, lighting a small fire. The warmth is barely enough to thaw your fingers. You sit close, shoulder to shoulder, wrapped in silence. For a moment, it almost feels peaceful. The flames lick the stone, casting long shadows that look like ghosts of ancestors dancing on the walls. You think of home, the one you left 40 millennia in the future. The hum of electricity, the endless scroll of glowing screens. And you realize that the comfort you crave now is the same they did then. Light in the dark, warmth in the cold, proof you're not alone. Sometime before dawn, the wind changes again. The old woman wakes first. She sniffs the air, frowns. A new scent. Smoke. Not theirs. She wakes the others. Weapons are grabbed, embers extinguished. They move as one toward the ridge. There, on the opposite slope, another fire burns. Not Neanderthal. The shapes around it are different, taller, slimmer. Their voices sharp and fast. For the first time in human history, one kind of us watches another kind of us through the mist. You feel it, even across the frozen air, the spark of recognition and dread. Two suns in the same sky, and the world is suddenly too small for both. The matriarch grips her spear. Her breath shivers in the air. You realize what's about to happen isn't just a meeting. It's the start of an ending. The air between the two fires is so still you can hear the crackle of resin in the wood. You crouch on the ridge, watching history hold its breath. Across the valley, they move. Taller, leaner, their skin smeared with soot and clay. Homo sapiens, your kind. Their eyes glint like flint in the firelight. They're dressed in lighter hides, their spears sleeker, their movements quicker, more deliberate. The Neanderthals below you shift uneasily. They've never seen anything like this before. Another tribe of humans, too strange to be kin, too familiar to be ignored. The matriarch tilts her head, her heavy brow shadowing sharp golden eyes. She gestures softly, a single command: wait. You can feel her pulse from here, slow but strong. She's cautious, not afraid. Historians still argue what that first contact was like. Some say they shared warmth and food, others say they fought the moment they met. There's evidence for both. Broken bones beside traded beads. The truth, as always, is probably messier. But tonight, you'll see how curiosity can turn into history. One of the humans stands, a man with a narrow face and firelight in his eyes. He holds something in his hand, a carved bone tool, polished smooth. Slowly, he steps forward. The Neanderthal leader rises too, massive against the snow. He grunts softly, motioning for the others to stay back. He descends the slope until they meet halfway, two silhouettes framed by flame and frost. No words, no weapons raised, just the quiet hum of wind through stone. Then, the human extends the bone tool, a gift. The Neanderthal studies it, turning it in his hand. His expression is unreadable. Then, with a low rumble, he reaches into his belt and produces something in return, a strip of leather, braided and worn smooth by years of handling. The exchange is awkward, clumsy, historic. For the first time, two branches of the human tree share something other than fear. You'd like to think this was the start of peace, but peace is a luxury evolution doesn't often afford. Over the next weeks, the two groups shadow each other, sometimes trading, sometimes watching from afar. The humans move like wind, everywhere, fast, unpredictable. The Neanderthals move like stone, patient, deliberate, enduring. At first, they learn from one another. A new way to have to spear, a trick to store fire, a different song hummed into the night. But something else is exchanged too, something invisible: desire. You catch it one evening when a Neanderthal woman wanders near the humans' camp. She's curious, her eyes following the rhythm of their laughter. A young man notices her and steps forward. They stare at each other across the firelight, half afraid, half drawn in. A few gestures, a smile, then a touch. You look away. Some stories are meant to be whispered, not witnessed. Scientists still debate how often the two species interbred, but your own blood carries the proof. Between 1 and 3% of your DNA, if you're of non-African descent, comes from Neanderthals. For people from Southeast Asia or Oceania, traces of Denisovans linger too. Love, lust, loneliness, it all left signatures written in genes instead of ink. That's the thing about extinction. Sometimes it doesn't erase, it absorbs. You watch the tribes mingle at a distance. For a time, there's balance. Mixed children are born, the fires grow larger, hunters share tools. But beneath it all, something shifts. The humans spread faster, adapting quicker to new climates. Their tools improve, their numbers rise. And with each passing season, the Neanderthals' camps grow smaller, their hunts fewer, their songs shorter. It's not war, it's gravity. One species expanding, the other slowly pulled under. You can feel it in the rhythm of the nights. Fewer fires, more silence. The Neanderthals begin to retreat north again, back into harsher lands, where their bodies still give them an edge. But they take with them the spark of something new, the gift and curse of contact. Now they know they are not alone, and that changes everything. A quirky discovery: in northern Italy, scientists found hybrid remains, part human, part Neanderthal. Not rare, common, which means these worlds didn't collide just once, they overlapped for thousands of years. Two species of humanity, entangled. It makes you wonder what the conversations or arguments might have sounded like. Maybe not words, but gestures, laughter, tears, the oldest kind of diplomacy. That night, the snow falls thick. The matriarch sits by her fire, staring into the orange glow. The young half-breed child, his skin lighter, his nose narrower, sleeps beside her. She brushes his hair back, humming a tune that has no translation. You can feel the ache in her bones. She knows her people are fading, even if she doesn't have the words for why. Her eyes lift to the stars, those same cold lights that will one day see you watching from the far end of time. And you swear she almost smiles. Because even as her species slips toward extinction, something inside her endures, something already reaching forward through blood and dream. It's not survival, it's legacy, and it's alive in you. The seasons shift again, not gently, but like a door slamming shut. The air thickens with snow, rivers freeze, herds move north and don't return. The old woman's songs grow quieter, fewer, and one morning, you wake to silence. The matriarch is gone. They bury her under stone, marking the grave with red ochre and a mammoth bone carved into a spiral. No words, just stillness. You stand among them, feeling the ache of a world that keeps taking. The Neanderthals grieve differently from you. No tears, no wailing. But the pain is there, in the way they keep returning to the burial site, pressing hands into the frozen dirt. The way they leave food, beads, and flowers over her resting place, even though the earth has nothing left to give back. Historians still argue whether this was religion or simply love, but watching it unfold, you realize there's no difference. You move on. The tribe is smaller now, slower. The young leader, the man with the crooked nose, takes charge. His eyes are different from the matriarch's, sharp, impatient, wary. He doesn't look to the horizon anymore. He looks behind him, because the humans are following. You see them sometimes, far off in the fog, small, darting shapes, always watching. They're not attacking, not yet, just circling, waiting. This is no longer a world of equals. The Neanderthals were built for ice, but the ice is retreating. The world that made them strong is collapsing beneath their feet. You feel it too. The nights aren't as long. The snow melts earlier. Birds return sooner. Sounds you've never heard before drift on the warmer wind. The buzz of insects, the trickle of thawing streams. It should be a good thing, but it isn't. Because every adaptation they've evolved, their size, their metabolism, their cold-proof bodies, becomes a curse when the world softens. They overheat, they tire faster, their food vanishes. Their tools, once perfect, suddenly aren't enough. The rules of nature have changed mid-game. A quirky find from France. Scientists uncovered a Neanderthal camp containing dozens of spears, each sharpened differently, as if they were desperately experimenting, trying to reimagine survival in real time. They were innovating, but it wasn't fast enough. And somewhere, behind every step, you can hear the human drums echoing from the south. One evening, you reach a river that's half-thawed, its surface cracked like glass. On the other side, faint lights flicker. Another tribe. You hope, foolishly, it's more of your kind. It isn't. The humans are crossing north now, faster than anyone expected. They come with fire, song, and children. They come with numbers that grow like storms. And for the first time, the Neanderthals have to make a choice. Share the world or fight for what's left of it. The young leader grips his spear, his jaw tightens. The tribe gathers behind him, silent. There's no roar, no battle cry, just a slow exhale that fogs the night. The humans approach the riverbank. They're not afraid. They don't even raise their weapons. They're just curious. It's curiosity that kills you in the end. Always curiosity. The first spear flies. You never see who throws it. The scream that follows doesn't belong to any animal you've ever heard. It's older, raw. It sounds like the end of something that's lasted too long. The Neanderthals surge forward, crossing the shallow water. Ice cracks beneath them, spears clash, shouts echo against the mountains. The humans scatter, faster, smaller, lighter. They fight in bursts, vanishing and reappearing like ghosts. It's over within minutes. Bodies sink beneath the current, their red trails carried downriver like ribbons. The Neanderthals win the field, but not the future. Later, by the fire, the young leader sits alone. His knuckles are torn, his eyes are hollow. You can see the truth in them. He knows this isn't a victory.
He looks at the horizon, at the faint orange glow of another camp burning far away, and you know what he's thinking. They'll keep coming. And he's right. That night, you dream of the matriarch's song. It echoes in your head, faint and steady, a lullaby for a world slipping away. You wake before dawn to the sound of rain, real rain, for the first time in years. The air smells of wet soil instead of frost. It feels wrong. The world's heartbeat has changed tempo, and you can almost hear evolution whispering, adapt or vanish. The Neanderthals won't. They can't. But they'll leave something behind, a memory written not in words, but in you.
The rain doesn't stop for 3 days. It turns the valley into a mirror, every puddle a trembling reflection of the sky. You wade through mud that clings like regret, the tribe moving silently ahead of you. The fire moss they carry sputters in the damp air, their smoke turning thin and sickly. This is new. The Neanderthals have never known rain like this. It seeps into everything, their hides, their food, their bones. They're built for cold and dry, not wet and unpredictable. For the first time, their perfect design feels like a curse. The world is melting. The young leader keeps the group moving north, toward the higher ground. His eyes are red from lack of sleep. He doesn't look back anymore. The humans are too close now, always nearby, always just out of sight. You can tell when they've passed. The ground bears their tracks, smaller footprints, lighter steps. Sometimes you find the remains of their camps, tidy, efficient, every tool polished, every bone scraped clean. The Neanderthals are master survivors, but the humans are something else entirely. They're planners, architects of change. They make the future the way a sculptor shapes clay. Historians still argue whether it was competition or climate that killed the Neanderthals, but watching this unfold, you understand it was both. The humans brought not just new tools, but new ideas, ways of thinking that bent the world to their will. A quirky discovery from Israel. Ancient hearths show overlapping layers of ash, Neanderthal at the bottom, human above. Generation by generation, camp by camp, one kind of fire replaced another. And that's how species vanish. Not in explosions, in layers. You stop one evening at the mouth of a cave overlooking the valley. The rain has finally eased, leaving behind a thin mist. The tribe begins to settle in, exhausted. The young leader leans on his spear, staring out over the endless gray. His shoulders slump. He looks smaller now. Inside the cave, children gather near the fire. A woman takes a lump of ochre and starts drawing on the wall. Not animals this time, not hunts. She draws hands, dozens of them, pressing red pigment against stone, one after another. Each handprint is slightly different, each one a name without sound. She's painting memory itself, as if she knows the earth will forget her. You watch her step back, eyes shining in the firelight. She smiles faintly. She doesn't paint because she wants to be remembered. She paints because she's afraid to disappear. You sit beside her and trace one of the prints. The stone is cold beneath your fingertips. And you wonder, how much of who you are comes from this need to leave marks, to build, to be seen. The humans will inherit that obsession, refine it, weaponize it. But here, at its birth, it's still innocent. The child beside her yawns. She dips her hand in the ochre and presses it over his. Then she adds one more next to theirs, yours. You don't belong to the species, but in that moment, you are part of the wall. Outside, thunder grumbles across the sky. The young leader calls out, his voice low and rough. The tribe gathers. He points north to a ridge of darker rock cutting through the clouds. Beyond it, the world falls into shadow. You feel it before you see it, the pull of something waiting, the next stage, the final refuge.
They start climbing. The wind howls harder with every step, carrying whispers that sound like ghosts. Snow returns, dusting the stones, erasing the wet world below. At the summit, they find another cave, smaller, tighter, safer. The leader looks inside. Then he steps aside for the rest to enter first. You follow last. The interior smells ancient. Musk, smoke, dust, time. The walls shimmer faintly with mineral veins. The firelight flickers over shapes carved into the rock. Spirals, figures, eyes. Eyes everywhere. The Neanderthals didn't just paint animals, they painted watchers, spirits maybe, or memories, or something that looked too much like the future to name. The leader kneels before one of them. He touches the eye carved in stone, his thumb lingering in the groove. Then he does something unexpected. He laughs. Not mockery, something warmer, a sound that seems to say, "We were here. We saw the world and it saw us back." That night, the tribe sleeps in a circle around the fire. You can hear their breathing, steady, calm. The storm outside howls itself into exhaustion. For a few hours, the ice age feels almost gentle again. But you know what's coming. The same way the Earth does, the same way every species knows when its time is up. The first frost of extinction doesn't touch skin, it touches memory. In the morning, you find footprints outside the cave. Human. Dozens of them. Fresh. You glance back toward the tribe still sleeping in the dim light, their faces peaceful. And you realize this is the last calm they'll ever know.
You wake to the sound of shouting, low, sharp, and desperate. The young leader bursts from the mouth of the cave, spear in hand, as the tribe scrambles to their feet. The fire collapses under a rush of cold air. Outside, the snow glows faintly under the pale morning light. Shadows move between the rocks, fast, coordinated, purposeful. Humans. They're not curious anymore. They're hunting. It starts before you can blink. A stone dart arcs through the air and shatters against the cave wall. The Neanderthals roar back, a sound that rattles your ribs. They rush out, thick bodies crashing through the snow, meeting the invaders halfway. The humans move differently, swift, surgical. Their spears are lighter, their aim more precise. They don't fight for dominance, they fight to survive, and they fight smart. The first Neanderthal falls. A spear catches him in the chest, just below the collarbone. He gasps, his blood steaming in the cold. Another rushes forward to drag him back, but it's too late. The young leader bellows and charges, driving his weapon through a human's shoulder. The man screams, and for a heartbeat, you think maybe, just maybe, the Neanderthals can hold their ground. But then, you see them. More humans cresting the ridge, dozens. This isn't a skirmish, it's a replacement. The Neanderthals retreat back toward the cave, dragging the wounded behind them. The humans don't chase. They don't need to. They've already won. By outnumbering, by waiting, by existing in greater numbers than this valley can feed. You can see it in their eyes, pity and practicality tangled together like roots. This is how one kind of human erases another. Not because it must, but because it can. Hours later, the storm moves in, covering the battlefield with snow. The red fades to white. The noise fades to silence. Inside the cave, the survivors huddle around the feeble flame. The young leader sits apart, his face half lit. His spear is broken, his voice hoarse. He stares into the fire like he's trying to remember why it matters to keep feeding it. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't need to. His silence says everything. We can't win this. You sit beside him. The heat from the fire feels too small to matter. The woman who painted the handprints is tending to a wounded child. Blood dried black around the gash on his thigh. She presses moss into the wound, hums softly, and the child's breathing steadies.
You look at them, then at the wall of handprints, glowing faintly orange in the flickering light. So many hands, so few left to make more. Historians still argue whether the humans killed the Neanderthals directly or simply outlasted them. Either way, both sides carried fire. Both sides thought they were right. A quirky find from Iraq, Shanidar Cave, revealed a Neanderthal skeleton laid to rest with flowers. Pollen grains from hyacinths, yarrow, and hollyhock were found beside the bones. That means someone returned after the battle. Someone buried the fallen and placed beauty beside decay. They fought, but they also forgave. The storm lasts for 2 days. When it finally breaks, the world is eerily quiet. You step outside to find everything white. The valley looks pure again, too pure. The kind of purity that only comes after cleansing. The humans are gone, but their footprints lead south, back into the forests. You can tell they'll return. They always do. You glance back toward the cave. The tribe is still inside, trying to keep the fire alive. The young leader's hands tremble as he adds more wood. His face is blank, his eyes distant. You know he's replaying every scream, every flash of blood, every loss. He doesn't realize he's part of the last few hundred of his kind, maybe the last few dozen. And when he finally does, the sound he'll make won't be rage, it'll be mourning. That night, no one speaks. The only sound is wind and the faint crack of ice in the fire. The woman who painted the wall sits alone, tracing the edges of her drawings. Her eyes glimmer with reflection, fire, tears, or both. You wonder what she's thinking. Maybe that all this fighting is senseless. Maybe she's imagining her child grown, living in a world where snow isn't endless, where the sun feels like kindness. But she won't see that world. None of them will. Still, she paints. She presses her palm against the rock, then adds another hand beside it, small, incomplete, fading before it dries. The next morning, you wake to find the cave empty. The fire's gone out. The tracks outside are faint, already being swallowed by snow. You follow them until they disappear into a narrow canyon. The wind moans through it like a warning. You know deep down they won't make it far. But you also know this isn't truly an ending. Because somewhere in the blood of the humans who survive, somewhere in you, their story will linger. A few fragments of DNA, a few ancient instincts, a few quiet ghosts. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. You turn back toward the cave one last time. The snow falls heavier now, covering the handprints, blurring them into formless color. Soon, the wall will be smooth again. But if you listen closely, beneath the howl of the wind, you can almost hear her voice, soft, distant, endless. We were here.
The snow keeps falling long after the tribe disappears. The cave becomes quiet again, just wind, ash, and the whisper of time sanding everything smooth. You return days later, maybe weeks, it's hard to tell. The fire pit is cold, the ochre wall has paled, the smell of smoke has been replaced by stone and silence. They're gone. Not just this group, all of them. Across Europe, valleys that once echoed with laughter and hammering stones are empty now. The last Neanderthals are vanishing like sparks swallowed by a gale. You climb the ridge and look down at the white horizon, and you feel the loneliness of an entire species collapsing into the earth. Extinction doesn't make a sound, it just stops making echoes. Historians still argue how quickly it happened. Some say it was a slow fade, others a swift disappearance. Radiocarbon dates argue with one another like jealous ghosts. But the pattern is clear. By 40,000 years ago, they were nearly gone. By 35,000, they were memories. And yet, not quite. Because in southern Spain, a cave tells a different story. You find it on the edge of a cliff overlooking an ancient sea.
The cave mouth gapes like the throat of time itself, painted in iron red. Inside, the air is thick with age, damp, warm, faintly sweet. You light a torch and the walls come alive. Boats, animals, spirals, hands, hundreds of hands. But these are different. The fingers are shorter, broader, thicker, the same as the prints in the northern caves. The last Neanderthals lived here, and they painted not from memory, but from mourning. A quirky discovery from La Pasega cave in Spain shows that some of the paintings predate the arrival of Homo sapiens. That means they weren't made by us, they were made by them. They left behind art that still clings to the stone tens of thousands of years later, a gallery of ghosts that refuse to go quietly. You walk deeper, torchlight licking the walls. The images twist and shimmer in the flickering light. You can almost hear their breathing again, their songs echoing faintly in the dripping dark. You realize this isn't just a tomb, it's a message. We were intelligent. We were creative. We were alive. You reach the end of the cave where the air is thickest. The torchlight catches something half buried in the dust, a bone carved with deliberate marks. Not random scratches, counted notches. A calendar. They were keeping time, measuring the cycles of the moon maybe, or the passage of seasons. They were thinking ahead. You run your thumb along the ridges and feel the weight of it. For all the ways your kind will surpass them, cities, empires, machines, you'll never surpass this. The raw ache to understand your place in time. They didn't just want to live, they wanted to know. You step back, staring at the wall. The torchlight flickers again, and for an instant, you imagine you see her, the woman from before, the one who painted her child's hand on stone. She stands at the edge of the firelight, silent, her face half-shadowed, watching. Then she's gone, like smoke into the dark. You whisper something, maybe a goodbye, maybe an apology, and the sound bounces softly off the walls, coming back to you slightly changed. It sounds like another voice answering, the echo of a memory that refuses to die. When you finally emerge from the cave, the world feels different. The snow has stopped, the clouds have cleared. You can see the ocean stretching to the edge of everything, silver and infinite. You walk down to the shoreline. The air smells of salt and endings. The waves hiss softly, erasing your footprints as you go. You sit on a rock and stare out at the horizon. Somewhere beyond that water, the humans are spreading, filling continents, inventing futures. The Neanderthals are fading, but not gone. They're already part of the story now, woven into genes, ideas, whispers. And even though no one will ever carve their names into history, they've already left their mark in something far more durable. You. The wind picks up, tugging at your hair. A gull circles overhead, its cry sharp and brief. You feel a chill crawl up your spine, not from cold, but from realization. You think about what the matriarch said before she died, the words you didn't understand back then. Maybe now you do. Maybe it wasn't despair, it was gratitude. Because extinction isn't the opposite of survival, it's the shadow that defines it. Without them, there's no you. Without their fall, your rise never happens. You stare at the water until the horizon dissolves into mist. The light dims, and the sea becomes a mirror again. You see your reflection there, rippling. Your face, their features, all blur together. For a moment, you can't tell where one species ends and the other begins. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the end of them was never the end, just the beginning of something else, wearing their eyes.
Night falls slow and soft over the sea. You stay there for hours, listening to the waves gnaw at the rocks like time itself taking small, patient bites. Every few minutes, you think you hear footsteps behind you, your brain still expecting the heavy tread of Neanderthal feet. But it's just wind, just memory pretending to have mass. You stand and walk inland, past the dunes, into the dark woods beyond. The trees are dripping, their branches bending under damp moss. Somewhere an owl calls, lonely and deliberate. Every sound feels older than language. It's strange. Now that they're gone, you can't stop noticing traces of them. A broken hearth under an overhang. A stone flake where no wind could have dropped it. A blackened bone cracked open for marrow. They were here. And you start to realize extinction isn't a vanishing act, it's residue. You come across another cave, smaller, half collapsed. You squeeze inside, the air cool and still. Your torchlight slides across the walls, catching faint shapes scratched into stone. Not art this time, marks, tallies. A line here, another beside it, and another. You count them. 7, then 10, then 12. It's almost rhythmic. Maybe a record of days, or kills, or people. Or maybe just someone trying to count how long they'd been alone. You feel that loneliness crawl through you now, slow and heavy. Because this isn't just one person's hiding place. It's the echo chamber of a species realizing it's the last one left. Historians still argue whether the final Neanderthals knew they were disappearing. But you can see it here, written in the pauses between scratches. They must have known. They were surrounded by ghosts of their own kind. Further inside, you find something stranger. A human skull, smaller than a Neanderthal's, set carefully in the dirt, facing the entrance. Around it, arranged in a half circle, are fragments of tools, some clearly Neanderthal, others human. You kneel. The torchlight wavers. This isn't a grave, it's a message. Maybe a warning, maybe forgiveness, maybe both. A quirky find from Gibraltar supports this eerie scene. Archaeologists discovered a late Neanderthal site where Homo sapiens artifacts were found mingled with theirs, suggesting a strange overlap that lasted far longer than anyone expected. Some scholars even believe the last Neanderthals didn't die out at all. They joined us. The human genome is a crowded museum. 1 to 4% of Neanderthal DNA in most modern people, higher in some. That means they're not gone, just reorganized, absorbed into memory. You stand there in the dark and whisper, maybe we didn't win. Maybe we just inherited their silence. When you step back outside, the world has changed again. The forest feels younger somehow, greener, alive in a way it hasn't been in ages. The ice age is retreating. The rivers are thawing. The era of cold giants is ending. You can feel the hum of something new rising, the rhythm of agriculture, of building, of language, of time accelerating. The air itself seems impatient. Your kind is spreading fast now, painting new maps across the planet. But part of you can't shake the sense that the ghosts are following, that every spark of invention still casts the shape of those who vanished. You see it in your hands when you make fire. You hear it in your voice when you sing. You feel it in your bones when you sit close to warmth. Little echoes of another kind of human, still alive in your muscle memory. You reach the top of a hill and look back at the coastline. The ocean is silver under the moonlight, waves breaking in slow motion. You can almost imagine one of them standing there too, thousands of years ago, watching the same horizon and wondering what would come next. And maybe, just maybe, that wondering became you. But not everything that remains is human. A storm brews over the water. You can see flashes of lightning rip through the clouds. The air smells like ozone and salt. For a brief and sane moment, you think you see figures in the surf, broad, heavy, unbothered by the waves. Then the thunder comes, and they're gone. You laugh under your breath, shaking your head. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe the past never really leaves. It just plays tricks on you until you listen. You make camp under a tree, wrapping yourself in furs.
The storm grows louder, but you're not afraid. The sound is familiar, like the deep rumble of a mammoth herd or the slow grinding of glaciers. You fall asleep to it, and you dream. You dream of two fires burning side by side, one gold, one blue. They flicker, dance, and finally merge into one. From that single flame, shadows stretch outward across the ground, twisting into the shapes of faces. Your faces, all of them, layered through time. One voice whispers from the dark, "We're not gone. We're just wearing new names." You wake before dawn. The storm has passed. The air smells clean again. Somewhere, far to the east, you see the first faint glow of sunlight. You sit there for a long while, letting the light hit your face. And for the first time, you stop mourning. Because you finally understand, extinction is never truly final when memory still breathes. When their hands still shape your hands. When their fire still warms your skin. You stand, stretch, and look toward the horizon. It's time to move forward. But you don't walk alone.
The first light of dawn creeps across the land like a new idea. Mist slides down from the mountains, curling through valleys that haven't heard a human step in years. The air smells different now. Wet soil, thawing grass, life. You walk through it slowly, boots sinking into mud that used to be ice. The ground gives, sighing under your weight. You can almost feel the world exhaling, relieved to be done with so much cold. But the warmth is a double-edged gift. Every degree that rises writes a eulogy for those who were built for frost. You stop at the edge of a river. The water runs clear and fast, carrying flecks of ash and bone. You kneel, scoop a handful to your lips, and taste time, iron, salt, and memory. They're in there, dissolved. The last of the Neanderthals. Far upstream, you find another fire pit. Not new, not ancient, somewhere between. The stones are still blackened, the bones still white. You sift through the ashes and find a piece of flint shaped by deliberate hands. Not yours. Not exactly theirs either. Something in between. Historians still argue about this stage, about who made these tools, who carved these marks, who lived in this strange overlap between species. They call it the Chateauperonian puzzle. The artifacts look human, but the DNA says otherwise. Maybe the last Neanderthals didn't die. Maybe they changed. Adapted, not into a new species, but into you. You roll the flint between your fingers. It feels oddly warm. A gust of wind moves through the valley, scattering petals from a cluster of wildflowers. Yellow, bright, reckless. You watch them tumble over the ground, and for a second, you imagine those same colors pressed into a grave long ago, the old woman's flowers from the burial. Even now, they bloom again. Nothing truly vanishes, it just changes shape. You keep walking until you reach a wide plateau. From up here, the land stretches forever. Patches of forest, rivers glittering like veins, herds moving like shadows across the grass. It's a world resetting itself, already forgetting who came before. You sit down on a rock and close your eyes. The wind combs through your hair, carrying a faint, impossible sound. Laughter. Not the harsh, nervous bark of humans, but the deep, resonant chuckle of Neanderthals. You open your eyes. No one's there, just the wind. But the sound stays. A quirky find from the Caucasus. A cave containing hybrid remains. A child with both Neanderthal and Homo sapiens ancestry. Roughly 37,000 years old. Which means that while the world was erasing one kind of human, it was already drawing the blueprint for another. The child's bones tell two stories, one of endings, one of beginnings. You think about that as you walk through the grass, sunlight flickering across your skin. You are, quite literally, the continuation of that experiment. a living compromise between extinction and survival. Every breath you take finishes a story that began in their lungs. You find a quiet hill and build a small fire. The flames twist gold and red, dancing like old friends. You feed it bits of dry moss and broken twigs, the smell rising sweet and earthy. You sit back and stare at it, hypnotized. Fire is your inheritance, the oldest companion your kind ever had. But it was theirs first. They tamed it when the cold would have killed everything else. They learned how to keep it alive through rain and storm. They passed that knowledge on, maybe not through words, but through example. You owe them every spark. You remember something the matriarch once did, pressing her palm close to the flames, not to warm it, but to feel the heat without touching it, to remember what alive felt like. You mimic her gesture. The heat licks at your skin. The memory holds. As the sun dips lower, the light turns red and soft. You take a stick and draw shapes in the dirt. Handprints, spirals, animals, eyes. The same symbols they once carved on cave walls, but now etched in open air. You realize you're doing what they did at the end. Documenting, remembering, reaching for something permanent in a world that refuses to stay still. Maybe that's all consciousness is, a desperate attempt to leave a note before the tide comes in. The fire burns down to embers. You lie back on the grass, staring at the darkening sky. Stars appear one by one, sharp as ice crystals. Somewhere above you, meteors streak like the ghosts of extinct fires. You think about how, in another 50,000 years, someone might stand here again, another version of you, another mutation of the same stubborn survival instinct, and wonder about your species, what your traces will look like, what your silence will mean. You hope they'll be kind when they talk about you. The night deepens. The wind picks up again, carrying a familiar whisper. It's not words exactly, more a vibration, a hum that feels like comfort. You close your eyes and listen. It's their song. The same rhythm they hummed while hunting, painting, burying their dead. The song that doesn't belong to one species or another. It belongs to being human. You hum back, softly. For a moment, you swear the stars flicker in time with the sound. Then, the breeze shifts, and it's gone. But the quiet that follows doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels inherited. You stand, stretch, and watch the last ember fade into ash. Tomorrow, the grass will cover your footprints. The rain will wash away the drawings. The world will continue, indifferent but alive. And beneath it all, the DNA of two vanished species will keep whispering inside you, patient and unseen. Their fire didn't die. It just changed hosts.
You wake to birdsong. Real birdsong, not the faint chirps that once punctuated endless cold mornings, but full, liquid melodies spilling through trees heavy with green. The world has exhaled, and for the first time in 100,000 years, the air smells alive. You stand and stretch, sunlight warming your face. The grass bends beneath the wind, shimmering like water. Somewhere nearby, a herd of aurochs moves lazily through the valley, their massive horns glinting in the light. It's a different planet now. The glaciers are gone, replaced by forests that creep northward every year. Rivers carve new paths, hills shed their white coats for moss and soil. And the humans, you, are everywhere. You travel for days without seeing another trace of them. The Neanderthals are finished. The last few families died or vanished quietly into the human tide. The handprints on the walls are fading. You pass through what used to be their homeland, valleys where their fires once glowed, mountains where their voices once echoed. Now there's nothing but silence, broken by the buzzing of summer flies. And yet, there's something in the air that doesn't feel entirely gone. A presence, a familiarity. It's in the way you walk, heavy, deliberate, on the way you pause to taste the wind before you move, in the way you crouch when you make a fire, shoulders hunched the same way they once did. Their instincts have survived, tucked into your marrow like secret inheritance. Historians still argue whether those instincts gave us an advantage, whether hybrid humans were tougher, smarter, more adaptable. Maybe so, maybe not. But here you are, breathing proof that something of them worked. A quirky discovery, scientists studying modern human DNA found that certain immune system genes, ones that help you fight off viruses, came directly from Neanderthals. So did genes affecting hair, skin color, even altitude tolerance. You're a patchwork of ghosts. They still walk beside you every time you get a fever, every time you shiver under cold rain, every time your body fights to live. It's their code, replaying itself inside you. You stop at a clearing where the grass has been trampled flat. There's a human camp here, recent, alive. You can smell the smoke, hear laughter. You crouch behind a tree and watch. There's something eerie about it. They're like you, but they aren't them. They're thinner, more talkative, more restless. They move constantly, building, rearranging, arguing. Their fires are smaller but more numerous. Their children dart like sparks. They're inventing something new every minute. Tools, stories, hierarchies, symbols. They're not just surviving anymore, they're creating. And that changes everything. You remember how the Neanderthals worked, how they built tools for utility, never novelty. Humans, on the other hand, build for imagination. They're already carving animals from bone, decorating spears, adorning themselves with beads. Evolution gave them language, but creativity gave them myth. And myth is the one weapon extinction can't touch. You leave the camp before they notice you. The forest swallows you again, the air buzzing with new life. For a moment, you feel torn, caught between the old world and the new. You think about the handprints, the firelight, the slow, deliberate way the Neanderthals lived. And then you think about these humans, endlessly moving forward, never content to sit still. The two halves of you pull in opposite directions, the calm and the hunger, the stillness and the storm. Maybe that's what you really inherited, not their bodies, but their conflict. You climb a ridge that overlooks the valley. The human's campfire flickers below, gold against the green. Beyond it, miles of untouched wilderness ripple like an ocean of time. You close your eyes and picture the matriarch again, her heavy hands covered in ochre, her eyes reflecting flame. You imagine her seeing this world, lush, green, alive, and wondering if it was worth it. Maybe it was. Maybe survival was always meant to look like loss from the outside. The sun begins to set. The sky turns the color of blood diluted with milk. You find a flat rock and sit, pulling a small piece of flint from your belt. You start carving, slow and steady, just as you watched them do 1,000 times before. Not to make a weapon this time, but a memory. You carve their symbol, the spiral you saw etched into the cave, the one that looked like movement without end. When it's done, you set it on the ground beside a fresh patch of earth. You dig with your hands until you hit cold dirt, then place the stone inside and cover it back up. A grave for a species that doesn't need one. You sit there as darkness falls, listening to the hum of crickets, the gentle rush of wind. Somewhere far off, thunder rolls. The night smells of rain again. And as the first drops begin to fall, you whisper something you didn't know you remembered. Stay warm. It was what they said to each other before every storm. A simple wish, a survival prayer. You look up at the sky, now streaked with lightning. The rain falls harder, washing over your hands, your face, the stone beneath your knees. It feels less like water and more like baptism. Because in this moment, standing between their end and your beginning,
You finally understand. You are both the last of them and the first of something new. The old world is gone, but its heartbeat is still inside you.
When morning comes, it isn't with trumpets or revelation. It's quiet. The storm has passed, and mist hangs low in the valley. You rise stiff from the cold ground, wiping rain and soil from your skin. The grave you made for them glistens in the dawn. A single yellow flower, uprooted by the downpour, has fallen onto it. The air feels strangely lighter today, like something heavy has finally exhaled. You begin walking. The path is unfamiliar but welcoming. The forest hums, buzzing insects, croaking frogs, the rhythmic drip of water from leaf to leaf. For the first time, the world doesn't feel like a battlefield. It feels curious, like it's trying to see what you'll do with it. You walk until your feet ache, stopping by a stream that carves through the land like a silver scar. The water is warmer than it used to be. Life thrives here. Fish darting, reeds swaying, birds arguing above you. You kneel and cup your hands to drink. The water tastes alive. It's easy to imagine this is how the new world begins, not with conquest or invention, but with something simpler: peace. You spot something half buried in the mud near the bank. You dig it out gently, expecting a rock. It's a tool, a scraper, unmistakably human, but heavier, thicker, different. It's a bridge between species. You turn it over, feeling the smoothness of the stone, the faint smell of age. There's a groove worn into one side, where someone's thumb rested so often that it left a print deeper than time. It's a handshake, across extinction. Historians still argue what the final Neanderthals might have thought of the newcomers. Did they hate them, fear them, worship them? Or did they simply see themselves reflected in another form? Same hunger, same warmth, same stubborn will to exist? No one knows. But looking at the tool in your hand, you realize they didn't just vanish. They handed something off. Knowledge, perhaps. Fire. The art of survival. It's the most human thing there is, leaving behind the tools for someone else to keep going. You close your fingers around the stone, as if to promise you won't waste the gift. A quirky discovery from a site in Croatia, a Neanderthal tooth polished smooth like a charm, with grooves suggesting it was worn as jewelry by early Homo sapiens. That means someone, your ancestors, carried a piece of them, literally, as ornament or memory. It wasn't mockery, it was reverence. You think of it now as you thread a piece of vine through the hole in the scraper and hang it around your neck. It feels heavy, comforting, alive. You walk on. Days blur into weeks. You follow the rivers, the smell of wet soil, the calls of migrating herds. You pass places where human fires glow like constellations. Their villages are growing, small clusters of huts made from bones and hides, guarded by men with sharp eyes and sharper stones. You stay hidden, watching. They laugh louder than Neanderthals ever did. They bicker, they waste food, they dance for no reason other than joy. It's both inspiring and terrifying. They've built a world not from necessity, but from imagination. And imagination, you realize, is as dangerous as any predator. You sleep in a field one night under a sky filled with stars. You trace their patterns, the same constellations your ancestors once used to navigate ice and fear. You hum quietly, the old rhythm coming back. The hum of the hunt, the hum of the fire, the hum that held meaning before words existed. It feels like prayer. You whisper, "You'd have loved this, you know." The wind answers softly, brushing the grass flat beside you. For a moment, it feels like someone lies there too. In the morning, you find footprints nearby, small ones, human children. They've been playing, skipping stones by the river. One print stops abruptly, replaced by a knee mark. Beside it, a tiny hand pressed into the mud.
You crouch beside it, heart catching. The print is smaller, rounder than yours, closer to theirs. You place your palm over it. It fits perfectly. It's a perfect metaphor for survival, nothing erased, just layered. You whisper, "You're still here," to no one in particular. By midday, you reach open plains. The air vibrates with insects and warmth. You look out and see smoke rising in thin pillars across the horizon. New fires, new tribes. The planet is changing fast. Every day, humans multiply. They've become the architects of the future, and the architects rarely look back. You do, though. You turn once more towards the north, where the cold world still sleeps under glaciers. You imagine the last Neanderthal family huddled there, faces half lit by embers, eyes reflecting fire. Maybe they're telling stories about you. Maybe they're dreaming of the warmth that took their place. I hope so, because in some strange poetic way, they've already reached immortality. You find a hill overlooking the plains and climb it. At the top, you take out the scraper again and hold it high. The sunlight hits its edge, flashing once, a brief beacon to no one. You smile. They'll never know your name, and you'll never know theirs. But that doesn't matter. History isn't a ladder, it's a web. And somewhere in that tangled thread of existence, two species touched hands and traded places. The gift was never dominance, it was a memory. And as long as you remember, they're not extinct. The wind shifts again, carrying the smell of smoke, of roasted meat, of distant human chatter. You stand there for a while, eyes closed, the sound of life washing over you. It's not a requiem anymore, it's a continuation. You whisper to the horizon, keep going. And somewhere, maybe in your blood, maybe in the bones beneath the soil, something ancient whispers back, we already are.
The sky deepens to bronze as dusk settles again. The plains glow like the skin of a sleeping giant, dappled with smoke from countless fires. You stand on the hill and feel the world's pulse quickening, drumbeats of progress echoing across the horizon. It's strange to think that only a handful of millennia ago, the world had room for more than one kind of human. Now there's only you. The last echoes of their kind have gone quiet. But tonight, you decide to listen anyway. You lie down in the grass, pressing your ear against the earth. The ground hums faintly, low, rhythmic, steady. Not quite sound, not quite silent. You tell yourself it's the heartbeat of the planet, but part of you hopes it's something else. Maybe it's the rumble of old voices still vibrating through the soil. You drift half asleep, half awake, somewhere between memory and imagination. The night folds around you like an old animal curling to rest. You see her again, the woman who painted handprints on stone. She's standing by a fire, the same hum in her chest, her child beside her. But the cave behind her isn't cold anymore. It's filled with color. Blue skies painted across rock, green leaves, sunlight. She looks at you, not through time, but through the veil that separates remembering from being. Then she smiles and points upward. You follow her gaze. Stars. But not just stars, patterns. Constellations shaped like mammoths, hands, spirals. The same symbols that would one day be drawn again, thousands of years later, by your kind. It hits you like thunder. You didn't invent wonder, you inherited it. Every prayer, every myth, every name whispered to the sky began with them. They dreamed first. You just never gave them credit. You wake to the sound of footsteps, real ones, humans. A small group moves across the valley below, hunters maybe. They're carrying torches and singing softly.
Their song drifts up toward you, carried by the night wind. It's low and steady, repeating the same few notes. It's familiar. The Neanderthals hum. Somehow, impossibly, it survived, passed from throat to throat, generation to generation, until it belonged to no species at all, just to the act of being alive. You close your eyes and hum along. The sound vibrates through you like blood remembering how to move. Historians still argue where music came from. Some say it began with rhythm and work. Others say with birdsong or mating calls. But maybe it began here, with grief and fire, with a lullaby sung to a dying world. A quirky discovery, fragments of bone flutes from caves in Slovenia and Germany, some made before modern humans arrived. The holes aligned with pentatonic scales, the same notes used in lullabies today. You hum the same intervals now, and for a moment you feel every era blur together. You're not one voice, you're a choir of vanished names. The hunters below reach the edge of the forest. Their torches wink out one by one. Soon there's only darkness again, except for your small fire, stubborn and gold against the wind. You watch the smoke rise, curling upward, merging with the night sky. There's something mesmerizing about smoke. It moves like time, upward, then gone, leaving only scent. You think of their fires, theirs that once dotted the frozen landscape. Maybe they thought the same thing. Maybe they too watched smoke vanish into the dark and wondered where it went. Maybe they guessed it carried their thoughts to the stars. And maybe, in a way, it did. You reach into your satchel and take out the scraper again. The stone feels warm now, alive in your palm. You hold it over the firelight, letting the flame reflect off its surface. It glows orange, like molten memory. For a moment, the edges blur. You can almost see their faces in it. Their wide noses, deep eyes, the calm intelligence that never needed words. And behind them, the woman smiling faintly. You whisper, "Thank you for holding the fire before I got here." The flames shifted, like they understood. A gust of wind rises suddenly, bending the grass flat. Ash swirls around you in little spirals. You shield your eyes. When it passes, the night's clearer than before, crisp, endless. You notice the Milky Way spilling across the sky, a pale scar of light. For the first time, you see it not as an astronomer, but as they must have seen it. An endless path of glowing dust, leading somewhere their feet couldn't follow. You imagine her pointing to it, telling her child it's a trail of embers left by their ancestors' fires. You smile. It's as good an explanation as any. You lie back again, staring at the stars. The air is cool, but not cruel. You can feel sleep creeping in, gentle and slow. Before you close your eyes, you whisper one more time, softly, like a promise that doesn't need witnesses. You're not gone, you're just quieter now. The wind answers, brushing your face like a mother's hand. And in the faint rustle of grass, you hear it again. That low hum, that rhythm of breath and heartbeat that's older than either species. The sound that means everything continues.
You sleep deeply that night, the kind of sleep that feels like falling through time. When you wake, the sky is gold. Dew clings to every blade of grass, glittering like a field of tiny mirrors. The horizon hums faintly with movement, smoke, shouts, the sound of life multiplying. You're closer to a settlement now. From the ridge, you see it. A cluster of huts arranged in a crooked circle, smoke curling up through holes in their roofs. People move between them, carrying water, skins, and baskets.
There's rhythm in their chaos, an emerging order that smells like civilization. You walk closer, keeping to the tree line. The voices are different from anything you've heard before. Quicker, sharper, more musical. Language finally in full bloom. Every word feels like the future rehearsing itself. You realize what you're hearing isn't just speech, it's control. The moment humans learn to shape reality with sound. And that, more than muscle or fire or tools, is what will make the world theirs. A woman steps out from one of the huts. Her hair is bound with reeds, her arms scarred from work. She shouts toward a child chasing a dog, her voice firm but not harsh. The sound is familiar, warm, protective. It's the same tone you once heard from the Neanderthal matriarch when she scolded her tribe's children near the fire. The melody of care never changed, only the lyrics did. You feel something sting in your chest. It isn't sadness, it's recognition. Historians still argue when language truly began. Some think it was born all at once, a spark. Others think it evolved gradually from gestures, calls, and songs. But maybe it wasn't an invention at all. Maybe it was an inheritance. A quirky discovery from the remains of Neanderthal hyoid bones, the small U-shaped bone in the throat that anchor speech muscles, shows that they had the anatomy for complex vocalization, which means their silence in your textbooks isn't evidence of muteness. It's the absence of translation. You wonder what their words sounded like: deep, deliberate, thick with meaning. Words that didn't describe the world, but belonged to it. And maybe that's what's been missing ever since, the old language of knowing rather than naming. The settlement buzzes with sound, clay cracking, laughter, the chopping of wood. Humans have become architects of permanence. You watch as they build small fences, carve markings into wooden posts, arrange stones in patterns that look like boundaries. It's the beginning of something dangerous: ownership. They no longer live in the world, they're starting to live over it. You think of the Neanderthals again, their quiet respect for balance, the way they buried their dead instead of burning them, the way they took only what they needed. They never wanted to own the earth, they wanted to belong to it. The sky darkens, smoke rises, the scent of roasting meat drifts through the air, and your stomach reminds you that evolution doesn't erase hunger. You creep closer, careful not to be seen. At the edge of the camp, an old man sits apart from the others, staring into the fire. His skin is darkened by sun, his back bent. Around his neck hangs a small pendant carved from bone, shaped into a spiral. Your breath catches. It's the same spiral, the same pattern the Neanderthals carved into their cave walls, the same you buried in the earth days ago. You stare, wondering how it survived. Maybe one of the hybrids carried it forward. Maybe it was copied by instinct. Maybe it simply refused to die. The old man runs his thumb along it, lost in thought. His eyes glimmer with firelight, heavy with the same ancient calm you saw in the matriarchs. You can almost hear her voice again, whispering through him. Keep the fire going. You step back, heart thudding. The grass brushes your knees, whispering like static. You don't need to go closer. You already know what you've seen. The spiral didn't just survive, it evolved. It changed owners, but kept its meaning. Life, death, return, continuity disguised as extinction. That's what the handprints meant. That's what the cave paintings meant. That's what the spiral always meant. You can feel it now, pulsing faintly in your chest like a hidden drumbeat. The camp quiets as night deepens. You sit at the edge of the clearing, far enough not to be seen, close enough to feel the warmth of their fire. The humans sing. Their voices rise and fall, echoing off the nearby trees. You don't understand the words, but the rhythm is familiar. It's that same low hum again, the heartbeat of memory. And suddenly, you feel it all at once. The connection between every fire ever lit. The cave, the handprints, the ochre, the humming, the spiral, the tool around your neck. Threads in one endless fabric.
You lie back in the grass and stare at the stars again. They shimmer through the smoke, pale and distant, but their light feels warmer tonight. You wonder if somewhere out there, the atoms that once made up her bones, her laughter, her warmth, are still drifting, part of the same universe that now breathes through you. Maybe that's what immortality really is. Not living forever, but being impossible to forget. A meteor flashes across the sky, slicing through the dark like a spark from the first fire. You smile faintly and whisper, "Still here." The wind answers, carrying the faint smell of smoke and salt. And for a moment, everything, the humans, the ghosts, the sky, the soil, feels like one thing breathing together. The same story, told in different voices.
Morning comes quietly again, as if the world is reluctant to break the spell. You rise before the humans stir. Their fires have died down to soft piles of ash, gray and humming faintly with warmth. Smoke threads lazily into the air, carrying the smell of roasted meat and wet wood. You linger at the edge of the camp a while, watching them wake. The way they stretch, the way they reach for each other, the way they check on their young first before anything else. You know this choreography by heart. You've seen it before, thousands of years ago, under different faces, in colder air. It's the same ritual, the same morning, the same fire, just wearing new hands. You feel that now, not the ache of extinction, but the rhythm of continuity. The Neanderthals never really ended, they just changed shape. Their warmth flows in these gestures, in these glances, in the way every human still looks for another face before beginning the day. You turn away before the camp fully stirs. The path before you leads east, toward rising light. Each step feels lighter, as if gravity itself has relaxed. You walk until the air shifts, until the smell of grass turns to salt. And there it is again, the ocean, endless and silver. The same sea that swallowed their last echoes now murmurs softly at your feet. You walk until your boots sink into wet sand and the waves lap against your ankles. It feels cold, familiar. The same cold that once sharpened their bones. The same cold that forced them to invent fire. You close your eyes, breathing in the salt. For a heartbeat, you feel them behind you, not haunting, but accompanying. The matriarch, the woman with red ochre on her hands, the child who pressed his palm to stone, the leader with his broken spear, all walking with you. You look down and see something glittering in the surf, a smooth white stone, polished by time. You pick it up. It's light, curved, with a faint spiral running across one side. Another reminder, another echo. You laugh softly. It's ridiculous how the universe keeps recycling its symbols. But then again, that's all it knows how to do. Repeat, refine, remember. You toss the stone back into the sea, letting it sink. The ripples fade quickly. Everything disappears. But you know what's true now. The end is never where you think it is. Historians still argue about whether Homo sapiens caused Neanderthal extinction or merely watched it happen. The truth is less cinematic, more intimate. It wasn't war, it was inheritance. You didn't conquer them, you absorbed them. Their DNA still hums in your veins, quiet but steady. Their memories live in your reflexes, your fears, your small human comforts. When you sit too close to a campfire and stare into it, hypnotized, that's them. When you hum without knowing why, that's them. When you reach for someone's hand in the dark, that's them. You carry their story not as history, but as instinct. And maybe that's why you've never truly felt alone as a species, because deep inside, you remember what it was like to share the world. You walk along the beach until the tide climbs higher. The light softens, golden and tired. The sound of waves mixes with your heartbeat until they're the same rhythm.
You stop where the surf meets the stones and look back one last time. The land stretches behind you, a tapestry of green and gray and history. Somewhere under all that soil, the bones of your cousins rest quietly. They've turned to dust, feeding the same earth that now grows your forests, your cities, your dreams. They're not below you. They are you. You whisper, "Thank you for the fire," and the wind carries the words out to sea. For a moment, the horizon flashes, a single bright pulse of light, like an answer. And then, it's gone. You sit down in the sand, letting the water creep higher, cooling your feet, your shins, your thoughts. The sun begins to drop, spilling color across the sky, blood red, then violet, then a dark, forgiving blue. You close your eyes and breathe slowly. The waves murmur, the wind sighs through the dunes. The day begins to fade gently, like the warmth of a dying hearth. It's peaceful. For once, there's no struggle, no noise, no species rising or falling, just a soft pulse of life continuing, one breath to the next. And as your thoughts drift, you realize that this story, their story, your story, isn't really about endings at all. It's about persistence, about the quiet dignity of existing long enough to be remembered. The tide slides forward, washing over your hands. The foam is cool, soft, and harmless. The sound of the surf has slowed to a rhythm that matches your breathing. Inhale, exhale, like the earth itself rocking you to sleep. You lean back against the sand. The sky above you turns deep indigo, sprinkled with stars that seem closer than ever. They shimmer faintly, as if aware that you're watching. Somewhere among them lies the dust of all those who came before you, tiny fragments of bone, ash, and dreams scattered through the galaxy. You can almost hear them now, not voices exactly, more like vibrations in the air, small and steady. The same hum that's carried through every generation. You think of the handprints on the cave wall, the ones you touched so long ago. You remember how they felt, rough, uneven, alive. You imagine placing your hand there again, this time not to say I was here, but we were. The line between you and them fades entirely. The sea breathes, the stars blink, the sand cools. The story settles into silence. Your eyelids grow heavy, every muscle softens. You let your thoughts drift like smoke into the dark. If you listen carefully, beneath the hush of the waves, you can still hear that ancient lullaby, the low, wordless hum that kept the fire alive through every winter. It's the sound of persistence, of memory, of everything that came before still whispering inside you. So, close your eyes now. The world is safe for the moment. The fire still burns, even if you can't see it. Sleep well, traveler. You made it through the last night of the old world.